Hello children, I'm just getting Snappy ready to go back to school. Just going to pack his little school bag for him. So, we've got an awful lot of stuff here, Snappy. Do you really need all that stuff? You do, okay. Let's have a look. You've got your crayons, and you've got your crocodile scissors, and your glue stick, and your crocodile drawing book. I suppose that's quite handy. You will be doing lots of drawing. And your pencils with the monkeys on. Oh yes, I know you like that. But Snappy, your Etch-a-Sketch, do you really need to take your Etch-a-Sketch with you? You do. Okay, let's pop it in the bag. There you are. It does go in, so you can take that. But I think, Snappy, your big Tupperware full of worms will have to stay here. It won't fit in the bag, and I think you can have your snack when you come home from school. Yeah. Now, some of you might already be back at school. Some of you will have been at school from the beginning because you're children of key workers, and some are just thinking about what it's going to be like going back to school, all the things you need, and seeing your friends and your teachers. It's quite exciting, really. Snappy's been a little bit worried about going back to school because he's going to be the only crocodile in his class this time, the only green person. But you know, we're all of us made quite differently, aren't we? We all look quite different. Some of us have straight hair or curly hair or red hair. Some of us have a different skin colour, or we like to eat different foods. We all have different things we like to do in our free time as our hobbies. Some of us perhaps come from different parts of the world, like Snappy. But we are all loved and treasured by God. We're all unique and wonderfully made by Him. Now there's one message that goes throughout the Bible, and that is to love your neighbour as you love yourself, which means that you show the love that God gives us freely to others. When perhaps at school somebody is hurt or they're upset about something, and you help them or you befriend them and you make a friend of them and you speak with them, that's showing the love of God. That's showing love to your neighbour. It's showing the love that God gives us freely. Our story now takes us to a time when Jesus has gone to heaven to be with God. And the disciples are telling everyone about Jesus. Now, there was at that time a man called Saul. He was a Jew, and he didn't like the new Christian people. He wanted to hurt them, sometimes even to kill them. One day he was on his way to Damascus, and he had an incredible encounter with Jesus. And from that time on, he no longer wanted to hurt the new Christians, but he wanted to tell everyone about Jesus too. And from that time, we no longer call him Saul, but we call him Paul. Now, our story starts with Paul when he is in Rome. But he's not in Rome as a free man telling everyone about Jesus. No, he's in Rome as a prisoner. He's still telling everyone about Jesus, but he's also writing letters to the new church, to the new Christians, to encourage them and to help them. And it's one of those letters that we're going to hear about now, a letter to Ephesus, the city of Ephesus. Many people didn't like Paul talking about Jesus, and now he's in prison in Rome because of it. He has spent some time in Ephesus, preaching and teaching people and leading them to Jesus. The town itself was a busy harbour town with lots of goods and people coming from all over the world. There would have been lots of people selling their goods in the town, as well as visitors coming to see the important temples that were there. You see, at that time, people would believe in many gods. It must have been very hard for the new believers, because they had turned their backs on that way of life, on that belief. And so when they saw a messenger coming from Paul, it must have made them very happy, because he has a letter. Paul had so many wonderful things to say in his letter, and I'm sure the Ephesians read it over and over, just as we do today. One very important thing was that Paul talked about there being now no separation between the Jews and the Gentiles. Now the Jews were born Jewish. They were born as God's people under his promises. but they kept very many rules and regulations. The Gentiles were people from other parts of the world. They may have worshipped pagan gods, or they may have worshipped no god at all. But now, both groups of people are one because they all both believe in Jesus and they love him. And that makes them part of God's big family. That's a wonderful thought, isn't it? And it's the same for us. When we take Jesus into our hearts and we love him, we become part of God's big family, the big Christian family around the world. It doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter what clothes we wear, or how rich we are or poor we are, or what part of the world we come from. We are all part of one big family. So let's just leave our Bible people here today, reading the letter. And we will see them next time. Shall we join with the believers from Ephesus and the Bible children to sing "Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world"?